today we're looking at emotional bank accounts. Emotional bank accounts. You know, I'm sure a lot of us have heard about that term, emotional bank account. It's probably a term we use, or maybe a term we don't use, but we apply the principles that, you know, surrounds it. In today's session, we're going to be looking at emotional bank account with relation to our spouse, you know, with relation to our spouse. It's going to be a series we're going to be looking at, you know, but for today, we're concentrating on emotional bank account with relation to our spouse. How is your emotional bank account with your spouse? Okay, so now before we go ahead, I want us to just look at emotional bank account. What is it? But I'm going to start off by looking at emotion. You know, what is emotion? I got this from the, I checked this out, you know, just to make it, just to drive it home. And it says emotions are conscious mental reactions. Emotions are conscious mental reactions. What are we reacting to? How are our emotions? So when you look at, you know, emotions as being a mental reaction, now I want you to now look at emotional bank accounts. You know, I'm sure everyone on this platform, you know, whether with me now or, you know, that is going to be listening to it later on, I'm sure you all have a bank account. Okay, now what is a bank account? You decide which bank you want to bank with, you know, whatever, you know, their offers are, whatever services they provide, you're quite happy with that. So what do? You decide this is where I'm going to save my money. So you have your deposit, you deposit whether it's your salary going in there or it's a savings account, you know, you put your money in there. And when time comes, you withdraw your money. That's the way it works. You know, a normal bank account, that's the way it works. You put your money in as a deposit, you draw your money out as a withdrawal. It's as simple as that. So now let's bring that back to emotional bank account. Remember, we said emotions are conscious mental reactions. It's as simple as that. So emotional bank account is, rather than, you know, the financial bank account that we just spoke about, emotional bank account is like the financial bank account, but rather than deal with money, you're dealing with emotions. Remember, those conscious mental reactions, that's what you're dealing with. So you're not just dealing with the emotions, you're dealing with feelings, you're dealing with kindness, you're dealing with honesty, you're dealing with trust. Think about it. Emotional bank account. You have an emotional bank account with everyone with whom you have a relationship with. So for an emotional bank account to, you know, this transaction to carry out or to take place, you need two people, two individuals. Okay, so you have an emotional bank account with anyone and everyone with whom you have a relationship with, whether it is your spouse, whether your children, whether your parents, whether your work colleagues, whether your family members, whether your best friend, whether your in-laws, whoever, whether your neighbor, whoever you have, you know, a relationship with, you have a bank account with them. And today we're talking about the emotional bank account, but we're looking at it with regard to our spouse. So how is your emotional bank account with your spouse? How is your emotional bank account with your spouse? Maybe you're on the platform and you're thinking, well, I haven't got a spouse. Okay. How is your bank account with your best friend, with your good friend? How is it? So we said, you know, just like with a financial bank account, you make deposits and you withdraw. So let's talk about the deposits. The deposits are times when you turn towards your loved one emotionally. So think about, you know, you turning towards your spouse emotionally. You're depositing something in there. When was the last time you deposited? When was the last time you deposited? Okay. When was the last time you deposited? Now, withdrawals are times when you turn away from your loved one emotionally. Deposits are times when you turn towards your loved one emotionally, and withdrawals are times when you turn away from your loved one emotionally. Now, maybe you're thinking, you know, in what ways, you know, in what ways can I turn towards, i.e. deposit, or in what ways can I turn away from, i.e. withdrawal, from my spouse? So let's talk about, you know, the ways you can make deposits. You know, there are so many of them. You know, I'm sure if I start saying, you know, please share with us, you know, ways that you can deposit to your spouse's bank account, emotional bank account, I'm sure we'll have a long list. But also, if I also ask, you know, can you give us some of the ways that you can, you know, you make withdrawals from your spouse's emotional bank account? I'm sure we'll also have a long list. But the idea is to make the deposit account very high and to make the withdrawal account very, very low. Very, very low. You know, if possible, it doesn't exist. But we are human, so let's be realistic. You know, sometimes you do things and maybe you didn't mean to, and your spouse takes it as a withdrawal. You know, how can you counter that so that it becomes a deposit? You know, if you read about emotional bank accounts, you know, there are so many people that have said so many things. And I think one of them is, you know, you need 5 deposits, you know, for 1 withdrawal. I'm saying, forget what anybody has said. Just keep depositing, keep depositing. Don't count, lose count. You know, lose count. Just, you know, whatever you think is right to do, just do it. Just do it. You know, you're doing it for your loved one. Remember that. You're doing it for your loved one. So it's not a case of, well, but he wasn't nice to me, or he hasn't even deposited into my account. You know what to do. You carry on depositing and watch what will happen as time goes on. So let's look at, you know, some of the ways, you know, maybe we should start with withdrawal. You know, what are some of the ways that you withdraw from your spouse's bank account? What are some of the ways that you withdraw? Maybe your husband has asked for something, you know, can you please help me make, you know, maybe his favorite food, and you think, I don't have time for that. That's a withdrawal. Or maybe, you know, both of you are having a conversation, and you know how women can look at somebody, they don't say anything, but their eyes tells the whole story. That's a withdrawal. That's a withdrawal. You know, you've not said anything, so they can't really say this is what you said, but your eyes have said it all. It's a withdrawal. Okay, so let's not go into too much withdrawal, so that, you know, in case you have just been there depositing, then we don't introduce withdrawals into your system, and then you think, okay, I'll try that. Oh, I've never actually looked at my husband in a funny way, but they said it's a withdrawal. No, please don't go ahead and, you know, start withdrawing from your spouse's emotional bank account. So let's look at some of the ways, you know, some of the examples, you know, that shows, you know, you how to deposit into your husband's emotional bank account. I'll start with this one. When was the last time you caught your spouse doing something good? Whatever it was, you know, good is relative. You know, maybe taking the bin out for somebody, you know, they might think, oh, that's good. For someone else, they're thinking, that's nothing. Maybe going shopping for some people is good. For some people, they might think it's nothing. But when was the last time, you know, you caught your husband doing something good? You know, sometimes you become too familiar with each other. And when the person is even trying their best and trying to put, you know, things together, you don't pay attention. It's a withdrawal. Be conscious of it. Be conscious of it. Catch your spouse doing something good. And when you catch your spouse doing something good, give a compliment. Now, I don't mean well, there you go, compliment. A genuine compliment. Oh, thank you very much. You know, maybe you drive and you can see, you know, your car has started flashing that maybe you're low on diesel or petrol. But what do? You say, the next time I'm out, I'll get it. And then your husband, you know, picks up the key, realizes that, oh, my wife's car, you know, is low on petrol or diesel. And they go and fill up the tank. Did he have to do that? No, he didn't have to do that, but he chose to do that. Now, the next time you're in the car, all of a sudden, all those lights and all those ping, 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 they are no longer, you know, disturbing you. But instead of, you know, saying, oh, thank you very much for, you know, filling the car with petrol or with diesel, you just act as if nothing happened. That's not nice. Give your spouse a genuine compliment. Thank you very much for, you know, Maybe it's even thank you very much for all you do for us as a family. And you mean it. Let it be genuine. Let it be genuine, please. Catch your spouse doing something good and compliment them. Compliment them. Everyone thrives on compliments. Trust me. Everyone thrives on compliments. Just imagine, maybe you're going out and you've dressed nicely and your spouse says, that dress looks really nice on you. And you will want to go and buy that type of dress again. Or you've just, gone to make your hair and your hair is just looking on point. And your spouse says, this style fits you. You want to do it every time. Why? Because a genuine compliment was paid. But imagine, you probably have gone to the hairdressers, since last night and you have just strolled in, and then, what is this on your head? Who likes that? Nobody likes that. What is this on your head? And you've been gone for so many hours and this is all you can come back with. That's a withdrawal. Or maybe on the other hand, your husband has had a nice haircut and it suits him. And you say, that looks really nice on you, and mean it, not just because, well, they've said we should pass compliments and here's my compliment. No, set your heart. Can you pass nice compliments? Okay, do something nice for them. Do something nice for your spouse. Anything. Do something nice. When was the last time you did something nice for your spouse? When was the last time you did something nice for your spouse? Let's not get over familiar. Before I go to work, before I, sort the children out, before I, do my schoolwork, before all those things were, your spouse was. So please, let's not forget that we're depositing into our spouse's emotional bank account. Okay? Do something nice for your spouse. Show genuine interest in your spouse and their world. Show genuine interest. Maybe your spouse likes football. Instead of when football is on, you decide you're going to go to the kitchen. That is when you want to do the laundry. That is when you want to do this. That is when you want to do that. Show interest in what they're interested in. Even if you don't understand the football, you probably will get to that point where you are saying, so what happens there? What happened? Wait now, be quiet now. Let me watch the game. Be patient, because it might be you that, maybe next time you're in the kitchen and then you want your spouse to stay with you in the kitchen. If you have already had too many withdrawals, it may not happen. That deposit you're looking for may not happen. So I'm not saying do it out of selfish interest, but do it out of love, out of genuine love, because you want to spend time together. Okay? And that leads me on to the next one, spend quality time. Spend quality time. Whatever it is you find yourselves doing, whether you are going on a stroll, by the time you're strolling, you're talking, you're coming together. Maybe you're going on a drive. Maybe, for some of you like road trips. You just want, just be driving me around and just keep. Maybe that's what you want. Maybe that's what your husband likes. He likes driving. Go on a trip. I'm not saying, go and stay somewhere. It might just be driving around. As you're driving, you're not mute. So you're going to keep talking and you enjoy each other's company. You're depositing. Remember, we're looking at ways that we can deposit into our spouse's emotional bank account. What about the show of physical affection? What about the show of physical affection? Now, all these things I'm saying, you have your ways of, making this happen. So when I say, maybe show of physical affection, you might just be like, oh, okay, when we are going out, okay, we hold hands. If that is your own show of physical affection, so shall it be. But whatever it is, are you doing it out of genuine and sincere love for your spouse? So we've talked about spending quality time. Now, what about random acts of kindness? Random acts of kindness. When was the last time that randomly, maybe you went shopping and your husband likes this particular thing, but it's been a long time, for whatever reason, it's been a long time you've bought it. And that random act of kindness, you just think, you know what, I'm going to pick this and, you know, I'm going to take it home and he's going to enjoy it. It doesn't have to be something expensive. It doesn't. You know, say, for example, your husband likes mangoes, or your husband likes maybe corn on the cob, or he likes a particular, whatever it is, you know, can you just randomly pick those things and just, you know, oh, honey, sugar, love, darling, whatever you call your spouse. Oh, I was at the store, you know, earlier today, and I remember you like this thing, and I bought it for you. That's another deposit. It's a random act of kindness. It's not, you're not buying it because there's no food in the house. You're not buying it because he hasn't got, you know, God knows, a wardrobe full of shirts or t-shirts or whatever, or a cupboard full of socks. No, it's just a random act of kindness. Now, when was the last time, these are still linked, when was the last time you bought your spouse a gift? And I'm not talking about Father's Day. And if you're a man, you're in the background, or you're listening to this later on, we're not talking about Mother's Day. We're not talking about birthdays. You know, just buying a gift, just, you know, like I said, with a random act of kindness. Maybe you're just in the shopping mall and you walk past the perfume shop and you think, and when I looked at, you know, the perfume bottle on the dressing table, it's like, it's not full, you know, I can buy another one. When was the last time you did that? Just a random gift. Be observant. Be observant. You know, be observant. I can't overemphasize this. Be observant. Let's not get too carried away with the cares of this world that, you know, even finding time to check out what is going on with our spouse has now become another chore. No, it's wrong. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Be observant. If your husband or your, you know, maybe you're in the background, your wife is not looking happy, do you even care enough? Are you even observing enough to know that, this woman hasn't been, her face has not been pecked up, you know, for the past 2 days. What's going on? Maybe there's pressure. Maybe there's pressure at work. Maybe there's pressure at home. Maybe there's pressure. We don't know where the pressure is coming from. But a problem that is shared is a problem, you know, half solved, because at least you said, this is what is going on. That's another deposit. Support, you know, your spouse emotionally. Emotionally. You know, maybe they're going through a not very pleasant time. Can you be there for them? Can you support them emotionally? Remember, we're looking at depositing into your spouse's emotional bank account. And then I'll, you know, finish off with this one. If you have done something wrong, are you prepared to say sorry? Or do you want to talk about it for the next God knows how long? Or are you prepared just to say sorry? Listen, sorry doesn't take anything from you. Nothing. Not a hair from your head, not the breath from your nostrils, nothing. But please, when you say sorry, say it and mean it. Not just sorry, sorry for the sake of saying sorry. No, say sorry and mean it. It doesn't take anything from you. And it doesn't even portray you as a weak person. That's what we don't know. Or sometimes that's what we struggle with. And that if I say sorry now, do you think I'm weak? No. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. You know, be sincere about it, move on, laugh about it, and life continues. So today, we've been looking at, you know, emotional bank accounts, and we looked at, you know, emotional bank accounts with regards to our spouse. So next time, you know, in this series, it might be looking at it with our in-laws, with our children, with our work colleagues, with family members, you know, but stay tuned, because the next series is going to be something that is of interest to each and every one of us again. Okay, so it's so important. Emotional bank accounts. Make more deposits than we do withdrawals. Okay, not just, you know, ratio 5:1. Just forget the ratios and just keep doing good. You know what is right to do, so just do it. Yeah, it's not just a Nike slogan. It's what's right, so just do it. Okay. So thank you very much. And I'm sure, we have one or two things that we're going to be talking about as the series continues. Maybe something like, and what if they are not being very nice to me?